My name is Janna Holm, and I'm the Associate Director of Philanthropy Operations at the Trust for Public Land. I'm here to talk today about public information. Public information is the crux of prospect research. Our role as researchers involves taking the information we track internally, adding publicly available information, and then interpreting all of the info we have in order to provide insight to frontline fundraisers. So let's start with the basics. What is public information? Public information is any information that a public agency discloses, disseminates, or makes available for public reference and use. So let's talk about a few examples. What is public data that we might use in our work? The first one is real estate ownership. I just bought a house this summer, and when that transaction occurred, the deed record and the home assessment are made public. My county has a search platform available, and when you look at a record, you'll get the names of the homeowners, the description of the property, and the assessed value of the home and land. These are used for tax purposes, and most local municipalities will provide this information. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission requires all publicly traded companies in the U.S. to file forms that show the CEO, CFO, and the three other most highly compensated executives, all company directors, and all people who hold more than 10% of a company's shares. In the DEF 14A forms, you'll see director bios, compensation information, and data about stock and option holdings. In Form 4, you'll get all the details about insider stock transactions: the shareholder's name and address, the transaction date, whether shares were acquired or disposed of, and the price of those shares. All of these are available on the SEC's website, but you can often find them on a company's webpage as well in the financial information. Any private foundation is required to file a 990 form with the IRS. These forms show contact information and foundation assets. Scrolling down to Part 8 will show their board members or trustees and highest paid employees. Sometimes this data will live in an attached schedule at the bottom of the document. These 990s will also show where their contributions came from and who their grant recipients were in that year. These can fall a little behind at times. You'll notice the most recent one here is 2017, but they're still full of valuable information. You can often find some charitable giving information. Some charitable organizations make an annual report public. They publish information online or mail it out to supporters and prospects. These can provide varying levels of detail, but often have a donor name and a gift range. Many nonprofits will also publish their board members on their website or as part of their annual reports or other publications. And then certain wealth indicators are also public. Planes and boats need to be registered with the Federal Aviation Administration and the U.S. Coast Guard, respectively. Anyone with a private pilot's license is also registered through the FAA with their name, contact information, and the types of planes they are registered to fly. So what type of data is not public? It's usually pretty difficult to find public information on a person's current net worth or detailed asset information, to find private company stock holdings or compensation, to find inheritance or family wealth, debts or liabilities, information about retirement assets, credit ratings, or anything else a person may try to keep private, like anonymous giving. Now, while public information is broadly available, you'll need to ensure you're using it appropriately. For instance, federal election contributions are public, but cannot be used for prospect research purposes. All organizations are required to comply with GDPR and CAN-SPAM regulations, and your organization may be subject to HIPAA or FERPA or other restrictions too. Apra has its own statement of ethics outlining how and why we use information. If you want to dig into ethics more, there are a lot of great resources on the Apra website, including a toolkit about ethics, confidentiality, and data sources, so I would recommend checking those out. Thank you for joining this Apra Bytes.